Hey, what's going on, people? It's your boy Dewan here, back at it with another sports talk and bull stuff. It's been a while since I made a recording. Last recording was the Corey Holcomb, Cam Newton interview. Got a little traction off of that. I think it was above 300 views. That's something for me, for a young player in the game, such as myself. But what I want to talk about today, why I'm back. Um, a new uh, president was elected. Oh, my bad, elected. Um, Donald J. Trump back in the White House. Um, Supposedly, I've been seeing a lot of stuff on the internet. You know, there's gonna be a pushback. There's gonna be a pushback, and they're building the foundation, gathering momentum for the pushback. So for everybody on the red side of the game. It ain't gonna be sweet just to get them back into the White House. They gonna pull it. But why I'm here today is, why did Trump win? I mean, it seemed like it was pretty much a landslide win. Um, you got the Northeast and the West Coast. That was pretty much blue, but the rest of the country was red through and through. I ain't mad at it. I'm in the Northeast. Um, I'm amongst the people here, and I don't mind going back down south. The Davises have been in this area for far too long. It's time to go back home. The tide is turning. It's a lot going on in these northeastern states. I assume the West Coast. I think it's a lot of people melting down and freaking out about Trump being in the White House. I go on Twitter and Instagram. Was it Defiant Elves? Lives of TikTok, and it's just people melting down all over the place. I saw Kwame Brown was making a video about people melting down, and the crazy thing about these people on the left is, when they get upset, when things don't go their way, they're very racist and sexist and can be homophobic and all that stuff. When things don't go their way, it's they're violent too. I saw reports of people calling for death for Trump and his supporters. It's cold out here. It is cold out here. But why did Trump win? He just ran a better campaign, top to bottom. Uh, Trump, he leaned into everything that they gave to him. All the bad stuff that they was trying to put on him, he leaned into it. Showed up at McDonald's to serve that terrible food to those people who eat that stuff. Um, he appeared to be the common man. Popped out in the garbage truck when one of them called Trump supporters garbage. He leaned into it. He said, "This is what it is, baby. I'm man of the people, for whatever that means." Trump was on all types of podcasts. I saw him on Theo Von's podcast, and just have a conversation about doing cocaine. It was just a casual conversation about cocaine consumption. If that doesn't ring common man, I don't know what is. Um, he went into the lion's den against those black women journalists, and he held his own against them. Went on Rogan, did 3 hours of whatever they did, their conversation. Um, Trump was on the Undertaker's podcast. He was on the Undertaker's podcast. Like, I saw Trump in a barber shop with some Dominicans or something. Like, Trump was making his rounds, all them rallies and all that stuff. Um, yeah, he put in the work. What can you say for anybody who's willing to put in the work? And Kamala was ducking everything. She didn't want to do Rogan. She didn't want to debate against Trump. Uh, other than the one debate where she got humiliated, in my opinion. I thought it was a KO, but and mind you, let me preface this all with I did not vote. I exercised my right to sit my ass on the couch uh, last Tuesday, so I didn't have any horses in the race. I ain't got doesn't affect me. I didn't give my energy to it. I'm just talking about the energy of the country. But back to Kamala, just being very elusive. Um, I didn't watch the I didn't watch the 60 Minutes interview, but I heard it went awful. She was on Club Shay Shay. That went, I don't even know if it went awful or good. Um, I clicked on the video, stopped it like 2 seconds in, and went straight to the comments. And they was shitting all over her and Shay Shay and all that shit. They didn't want to hear shit. Um, that's another thing. Whenever you on social media and they post something, go to the comments. Because the comments is going to tell you what the streets is really feeling. It's going to tell you the people, the comments. It don't matter what they post. Go to the comments. That's gonna give you an indication of the energy of the people. Um, and quite frankly, Kamala it was just unlikable. It doesn't seem like she's quite intelligent. Um, it seems like no seems. It was a lot of pandering. That's an Indian woman um, pretending to be black. Sorry. You saw what Candace Owens is putting out about the Kamala family was taking pictures next with their friends or the help, taking pictures of them and then claiming the help or the servants or their friends as being family. They ran this whole con game on the unsuspecting uh, voting masses. Many people was hip to it. A lot of people was hip to it. When you go to them comments, lots of folks was hip to it. They knew that was not a black woman. No, 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 no. That's an Indian woman masquerading as a Negro, a Negress. I can't even talk about all the gaffes that she did in her campaign. She is not very well spoken at all. She didn't talk about policy. She didn't say anything that she was going to do. It was just a lot of deflecting to Orange Man bad. And there's been 8 years, 9 years of Orange Man bad. And people haven't seen the results of Orange Man bad. They felt the results of these good Democrats uh, and these high gas prices, high food prices, all this nonsense that's going on in these schools, the CVD thing from what 2020, that whole thing. That's their agenda. They'll mask you up, teach something outlandish to your babies, uh, and and promote degenerate behavior across the board. Do you see the people that they was putting up campaigning for Kamala, giving her their endorsement? It was a freak off finals selection of people that have been engaged in all that puffy shenanigans. and the left, people who support this nonsense from Kamala, and it's really the Democrats. I get so sick and fucking tired of these people acting like they're so educated and all high and mighty and so pompous and all that shit. I'm saying this as someone who has I spent a lot of time on college campuses. I was like the Van Wilder of 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 people. You know, I was on a college campus for a long time, just aimless, finding my way, not taking things serious. And then when I finally took it serious, I was able to push through. But I'm not impressed by a lot of the people who are college educated. In 2024, I'm seeing that the education system has failed us. Yeah, it's failed a lot of us. It's failed the nation. When Trump talks about defunding the Department of Education, I don't see a reason why not. Where are the results? I want to know the results of the Department of Education because the Department of Education is within all uh, uh, education systems within the 50 states of the United States. And we just keep producing. Just go look at the United States in terms of math, reading, writing, science, um, all that stuff compared to other countries. We're not even in the top 10, not even the top 15. But all this money is devoted to education. All while I keep hearing the prison, the school to prison pipeline. And it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. Like, because I don't see a change. They keep talking about it, but I don't see any changes. It seems like they're just accelerating the school to prison pipeline with what's going on. So I'm gonna leave it there for the Department of Education because it don't seem like too much education is happening. It seems like it's not that much education that has happened. For all these adult grown people to not know anything about politics, anything about economics, anything about finance, anything about uh fucking world economics, anything about sociology, you know, failing across the board in these things that are important to the country. And these are supposed to be the brightest people. All of people who vote blue, no matter who, they are primarily college educated people or scared out of their mind black people who watch the news all day. This is usually your senior class people. And I understand, you know, senior citizens, they're retired, they're not working. What else do they have to do but to watch TV all day and be programmed, indoctrinated while at home? I get it for them. They got their indoctrination box. They have access to that all day. So of course they're going to be indoctrinated. But the people who are out in the working world, people who are, you know, talking to people, shaking hands, getting to know people, understanding their environment, should be understanding their environment, should be gauging and assessing, having full awareness of their environment and how it affects them. But what I see about this educated class is that it is a educated class that is a pseudo-educated class, and this educated class, they have this pompous air about them simply because they tell themselves how educated they are, and they have the media apparatus to talk about how educated they are compared to those dumbass Trump voters or dumbass red voters. And I'm not saying that you are smart or intelligent. Well, I think I am saying you are intelligent if you understand that something is terribly wrong in this country. And the blue side, the Democrats, they're not going to do anything to change it. And what they're going to do is accelerate it into the ground. They're going to make things worse by their policies, because their policies don't have anything to do with actually uplifting anybody or any individual, unless you're a legal alien, I guess. Um, but they're not going to help the common man. It's just not going to happen. These democratic policies, these are what, 60 years since 2024. We got about 60 years of democratic policies since quote unquote black people, Negroes, have voted Democrat since the 60s. And what do we have to show for it? Not a damn thing. Because prior to the 60s, prior to integration, prior to the civil rights movement, there were thriving businesses, thriving families. All indicators were on the up. And that's what 2016, no, not 2016, 1916, 1960. So let's say 1960, that's roughly 100 years since emancipation, where supposedly all the Negroes were slaves. But once you start doing some deep dives into history, not what they give you from the Department of Education, once you get into some real history, those like level 600, 700 classes of history, when you go to college, you're supposed to learn some deep history. Things are supposed to get more intense. You're supposed to have a better understanding of the world, or of your subject, not your subject, your profession, your major, your minor. You're supposed to have that rich understanding of it. So when you get some real history, I don't even know if they're giving this real history, but two things I'll give Barack Obama credit for. Now, I don't give Obama credit for shit. That's a top 10 worst president of all time. I can't say top 5 because there's been some doozies, but top 10, yeah, worse. But one thing he did that was good was that he digitized a lot of books that are in the National Archives, historic books that were written hundreds of years ago, 100 years ago, 200 years ago, things like that. He digitized them, put them on the National Archives. So if you want to get some real history, you want to get some real understanding, you want to get a real comprehensive. I mean, you have to piece things together. You have to read. It's a lot of reading, people. But once you start reading and understand what's really going on, you don't trip too much over this race stuff, over the black, white stuff, because as an Aboriginal myself, that whole 1619 story, that whole slave ship story, that's stories. Those are stories, because the buying and selling of humans at that time, that was, contracted stuff. There's paperwork attached to all that stuff. And there are books that go into the paperwork of all that stuff. And then when you shout out UBTV, UB News, one of his last videos, he was going into, I think it was the Boule. One of his last Boule videos, he went into the foraging of those Atlantic slave trade voyages, and the numbers that were forged and kind of just made up out of nowhere in the 1960s. And what they don't talk about is the slave trade that happened not from America to Africa. There's a couple slave trades that they don't talk about. That has been embellished. Were there people who came from Africa as slaves? Yes. Were there 4 million or 12 million or 100 million? Not even close. Nowhere near that. So what they don't talk about is the Indian slave trade, where they were capturing people, kidnapping or prisoners of war, things like that. They were catching those people and shipping them from, let's say, the island of Puerto Rico or whatever it was called at that time. They'd capture them on Puerto Rico or Hispaniola or Haiti or any of those Caribbean islands, and they'll take them to South Carolina or New Orleans or Boston or New York. That's your slave trade. Or they'll take them to England or France or Germany, or drop them off somewhere in on the South America, one of those ports. And they never talk about the Asian slave trade, where they're bringing Asians or yellow people. I don't know the correct term, Asian, modern Asians, or Siberian Asians, people who were at the top above Russia, those people, they were bringing them here on the West Coast. So there's a Pacific slave trade that doesn't get talked about because the people who are in Mexico and Colombia and South America, they're not aboriginal to those lands. They are people from Russia or Asia, North Asia. They're from there. Because I know I'm supposed to be talking about Trump and Kamala and everything, but we have to put things into history. We have to put things into deeper context. And when we're talking about Trump versus Kamala, we're talking about the black man or they say he got felons, so he a black man, but we're talking about the white man versus the black woman. Supposedly, that's how they put it. That's how they sold it to people. This is a black woman. She went to Howard and put corn, put hot sauce on her cottage greens, on her greens that she cooked or watched her grandmother cook in a bathtub. Very very black. So I say Asians. Oh, and then last but not least, we gotta talk about the white slave trade in the 1904 1901, something like that, international agreement to suppress white slavery. You gotta look at books like White Cargo, White Slavery, and Irish White Slaves. Oh, oh, oh. When you go into the Godfather 2, there's a scene where all these people are coming in on ships from Europe looking for refuge. That's your ships. Those people were the white people who came into the United States in the 1800s and the early 1900s. Those were the peasant farmers. Those are the people under the what, feudal system. Where is this white supremacy at? Show me white supremacy. When you look into I'm going off, I'm deviating so much, but when you look into the not bicentennial, bicentennial 200 years, so centennial, uh, uh, not autobiography, but it's a book about George Washington. The centennial, so the 100-year anniversary or history of George Washington. And in that book, the writers are saying that the pictures and the depictions of George Washington that we see are not who George Washington really looked like. George Washington was a melanated man, ruddy skin, tawny. Abraham Lincoln was a melanated man, skin ruddy, tawny. And they hated Abraham Lincoln. They wanted to knock his head clean off. Look into the Baltimore conspiracy or Baltimore plot. They hated Abraham Lincoln. And I can see why, because he, in a true Democrat form, he took the shit, took the White House. He wasn't even on all of the ballots in all of the states. They did some gangster shit in the 1860s. Abraham Lincoln did it. So I know I'm supposed to be talking about Trump and Kamala and why uh, Trump won and Kamala lost, but you got getting started with all this because it's bigger than what we see on TV and in the media and all that stuff. Um, a good majority of the American public has no idea about history, and I was one of them. Boy, I was dead set that Trump was a racist and Trump was this and Trump was that because at that time I still had a belief. I knew the media they wasn't on the up and up. I knew about the corporations controlling the media. Um, but I started watching these videos and it became apparent. Like I knew the news was fake. Trump, when I heard fake news, I was like my ears perked up. I was like, oh, what? Yep. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people ears perked up and say, yep, yep, that makes sense. But not only is the news fake, they making stuff up on the news. I saw this video of the migrants coming from South America, and they traveled a caravan of migrants that they were just looking for asylum and looking for freedom. And these people, it was a whole show. It was like a reality show. These people had cell phones, and these people, uh, it they was just chilling. Like they was getting bussed to different locations and filming, making it look like they was in despair and uh they such anguish, such turmoil and all that stuff, really making it feel heartfelt for the unsuspecting viewer watching on TV, like, damn, they really, they really need help and everything. But no, that's an operation. They may have need help, but they was getting lots of help because they was getting paid to be there in the first place. Just to help. I mean, I've said too much. But this is what you get from sports talk and bull stuff. I'm gonna give you what I know, what I got at my disposal. Y'all sort it out yourselves. You make it work for you, which is what I know. What what I'm seeing right now, I'm seeing all these people freaking out. White people, what quote unquote white people, quote unquote black people. Asians is chilling. The Hispanics is chilling. But for the most part, black people was chilling. Um, but it's the left. If you identify with these insane ideologies, twisted ideologies, like I'm just gonna be flat out and say it. Like the left that's a death. If you're a leftist, you promote death. Sorry. Your one selling point is that you want women to be able to abort their babies. That's that's liberation. So this is your liberation. You listen to Cardi B, you listen to Meg The Stallion, you listen to Sexy Red, you promote that lifestyle. You go and you have a thirst with someone, it goes bad, but you say, you know what? I ain't gotta step up. I ain't gotta just, stand on what I did. Nope. Go to Planned Parenthood and do what they do. And once you've done what you did, they're gonna do what they do to that what was extracted from your body. And They profit and monetize that extraction from your body in so many ways. So one can say it's quite profitable for some, for you to do what they're promoting you to do. Because it's not about your well-being. It's not about your well-being. Because if it was about your well-being, they would promote uh, um, abstaining until you find someone that you uh, feel will be a good uh, partner for you and a father for your kids. That's easy to promote. You know. It requires some discipline, but this is the party who promotes not being disciplined. That's why they push promote. That's why they pushed welfare on families, on young women. Because guess what? If I don't need a man for me and my family, guess who I got? Government. So the government becomes your daddy, basically. Uh, for the feminists out there, the ones that who don't want to be told nothing by no man, and they husband is they don't want no husband, and they can't have no husband telling them what to do and uh, how to dress and how to act, how to conduct themselves. They'd be damned they have a man, a husband, a boyfriend tell them what to do. But yet they go take orders from their boss. It's fucking crazy. The hypocrisy and the delusion that we have. This is where we are today. Got a lot of delusional uh, hypocrites out here who claim to be smart but keep doing dumb fucking shit all the time. That's why Kamala lost. Because people have saw, they've seen, they've realized that something's afoot. And these supposed good guys, when they get in office, they just fuck shit up. And it's almost like they fuck it up intentionally. And I'm inclined to think they are fucking shit up intentionally. And I'm not here to say that one side is going to fix things, because in my assessment, if you look at the cities and states across the country, um, if you do not have a fully democratic state, so like a California, Washington, Oregon, the entire Northeast, which is Democrat through and through. That's what it is. Now, usually the whole states are in some type of turmoil, usually. Uh, but if you do not have that, so you see in the if you looked at the election map with the red and blues and all that stuff, usually in those red states who have a red, let's say, governor, you're going to find in those cities that those cities are through and through blue. So you have two sides working together because they're not operating separate from each other. The Republicans know that the Democrats are purposely fucking up them cities, and the Republicans are letting them do it. You know why? It's fuck them. That's why. So there is a partnership that is going on between the Republicans and the Democrats. There is a partnership. They're working with each other behind the scenes, even though on TV it's pro wrestling. It's Macho Man versus Hulk Hogan. I hate you, brother. And Hulkamania is gonna ride forever. It's that type of game. I say this all the time. Say it all the time. People don't believe me. Vince McMahon is paying both sides. Vince McMahon is paying Macho Man. Vince McMahon is paying Hulk Hogan. Citicorp is paying the Democrats, and Citicorp is paying the Republicans. Goldman Sachs is paying the Democrats, and Goldman Sachs is paying the Republicans. What are all these other investment firms, BlackRock and all that? The supposed educated class in this country is the most ignorant class in this country, more often than not, because they believe a lot goes into believing. A lot goes into believing. What's that? Somebody said, Nixon probably said it, but if you can convince the poorest white man that he is better than the richest black man just because he's white, I'm butchering the thing, but it's a whole belief thing. Y'all saw that video of that kid? It was going around a lot on Instagram last week. But there's a kid, fast break. He's like, I'm gonna bang it on. I'm gonna make this dunk. Boy, he wasn't close to dunking. He didn't even touch the net, the bottom of the net. He fell on his face. Hilarious. But you can believe what you want. But if it's all gonna come together, that's the thing. And the people on the left, the people that put the Kamala Harris signs out and the Tim Walz signs out, their belief system is a belief system that is like a house of cards. Shit over. That's why you're seeing so many people freak out, because they've attached themselves to this leftist cult personality that is anti-God, pro-death, anti-family. I'm not even going to say anti, I ain't going to say pro-woman. Because if you're pro-woman, you're not going to encourage behavior that's to the detriment of women. And that's all the lefts do. That's all the left side does. That's all the Democrats does. Promote destructive, degrading behavior to the people who they vote for. And they wonder why Trump mollywopped Kamala, because the pushback from the country is, we don't want that bullshit. That was a resounding sentiment statement from the majority of the country. People who voted said, we sick of this bullshit. We're tired of it. We don't care about your feelings. We don't care about all this arbitrary nonsense, all this scenario nonsense. These people, their arguments are based off of outlandish scenarios. What if this happened? What if this happened? What if this happened? What about this? What about this? Show me where it's happening. Show me the proof of all this shit that you build your arguments off of. They can't. They won't. That's why they get emotional and cry. But let me tell you something. I work with kids. And if I don't care when kids cry, because guess what? If the kid is not hurt, if the kid is not damaged, if the kid is not no physical damage, crying is just a fleeting emotion. I'm sad, I'm mad, I'm frustrated, and then that passes by. But what the left is, they're in stunted growth. They're in that early stages of childhood development where they've been fed and told a bunch of bullshit for however long they've been told it and fed it. And they've come to idealize themselves or identify themselves or connect themselves to bullshit arguments. Things that are not real. And then when they're confronted with truth, they fall apart. When things don't go their way, they fall apart. But this is the educated class who I keep seeing. I was on college campuses for a long time, and I would look around and say, I don't see too much intelligence about these people. Now there are some who I was impressed with. I was like, okay, they know their stuff. Okay. But by and large, you got a lot of people with degrees out here that they think they're King Tut and all this shit, but they need to be working in Pizza Hut because regardless of that degree, your common sense is uh, below average. So I don't care what your degree says. I don't care if you got 8 doctorates. If you don't have common sense, you ain't got a motherfucking thing. And excuse me for being this uh blunt and frank, but 4 years ago, I saw people who I thought was uh highly intelligent, and they fell for the 2020 was an IQ test. And I don't even believe in that IQ stuff and that psychiatry and psychology and all that stuff because I think a lot of it is a bunch of quackery. There's something to it, but when you got your Freuds and them and all these people that was connected and a bunch of nefarious things. So I'm telling you, if you in a psychology realm, do some history on Freud and them. All them people with them theories. I can't think of them theories right now, the people behind them, but everybody behind them major theories, Pathlog and them, check what they was into. I look at things from the root. I try to get things at the root. So if the people who theories and works are in these education books and college and everything, don't you think you want to know something about what they was on? And if you look into what they was on some bullshit. I lost where I was going. Um, but people they tired of being lied to. They they've seen the con game that has been going on, and the uneducated people, the so-called stupid people, they see what is going on. They've seen what has been going on. And you got these so-called educated people who don't have a clue what's going on because their heart is so connected and attached to uh, nonsense. Case in point, that whole Roe versus Wade thing, Roe v. Wade thing, that whole thing was based on a lie. That woman made up a story that she was raped by a black man. They went to Supreme Court and had a whole thing about rape and abortion over a story that wasn't true. They just put it in the tabloid and spun it and sensationalized it and got it up into the Supreme Court. I'm sure Cosmopolitan magazine was heavy behind the promotion of that whole thing, just like Cosmopolitan magazine was behind a lot of the propaganda that broke up a lot of happy homes in the 60s and 70s. Man go out, work his job, come home. This woman talking about she want to be free and shit. Woman, you been free. See this house? You're free to roam around. JK. But a lot of that stuff was a lot of this stuff was intentionally done. The work has been, the research has been put into the feminist movement. the sexual revolution of the 60s and 70s. And, you look very deep into it, and it was not an organic movement. It was an artificial movement. And that is what a lot of these movements are. They're not organic, not organic at all. It doesn't come from the people. A lot of these movements are artificial and come from corporations. And if you don't understand that about uh, America, you're going to keep voting blue, no matter who. And the tide and the energy of the country has shifted. There's been a major backlash to all that stuff, that cultural Marxism. That's all it is. All it is communism. That's what the Democrats have for you. Communism light. The state runs everything. State is your daddy. State is your mama. The state is your God. That's communism. And that's why a lot of quote unquote black people, the Democratic Party's message resonates with quote unquote black people, because deep down through all of the years of indoctrination and propaganda, through various medias, books, TV, movies, magazines, other things. There's an inferiority complex that exists within many quote unquote black people. And because of this, they're looking for a savior, because they have been given false history, bullshit history. They think that we've always been slaves. We've only been slaves. We need a savior. Thank Christianity, because JC is supposed to be a savior, and we're always looking for a savior. I'm not going to get into Christianity because I've gone far too long, but I could go into Christianity, because the Christian right that is emerging right now, that's a trap. I don't know how. Well, I do know how. I'm not going to talk about it now, but that rising, because if you know anything about Christianity, you know that it is a false doctrine. It's a death doctrine. You're going to have, all right, I'm going to give you maybe 2 minutes of this, of the New Testament. All right. JC is born because God impregnated a woman. God flooded the earth in the Old Testament because angels had sex with women and created monstrosities and beasts. So in the New Testament, God gonna do it. In the Old Testament, it talked about sacrificing, not giving your kid to Moloch and Baal and things like that. But God's going to sacrifice his one and beloved son for the sins of man. Even though in Ezekiel, no man can die for the sins of another. I don't know if you see where I'm going with this, but a lot of the stuff that we've been given, a lot of stuff that we've been spoon-fed, put into our face, programmed into us, has been to our detriment. Christianity, the Democratic Party, lots of other things, but those two in particular. Oh, I just thought of this. I said one thing I was good with Obama with, which was digitizing the National Archives. Second thing was he spoke to somebody on a podcast recently, some NBA player. I think it was the dude Halliburton from the Pacers. And to his credit, he said, y'all got to get it together. This NBA, this All-Star game is bullshit. He didn't say it like I said it, but that's what it was. And Halliburton was like, well, we want to have fun. And Obama was like, well, kid, it's not about fun. I got stake in the NBA, and you're losing a lot of money for me. The people aren't watching anymore. You need to play hard on defense. You need to get back. Stop shooting the three kids. That's my first ever Obama impression. Sounded all right. But I know I'm all over the place here. And the big thing is that we have to understand is that Kamala just ran a terrible campaign. I'm all over the place, but we're gonna get back to that. Kamala ran a terrible campaign. It was leftist, it was soy boy, it was scared. People don't Real men don't watch The View. Real men don't watch CNN. Real men don't watch MSNBC. Real people barely watching Fox News. People was off that mainstream media. And the people that's still on that stuff, lost. The country has gone a different way. Trump was on the Undertaker's podcast. I don't know what to say. What else to say? Um, Trump ran a masterful campaign. He had Hulk Hogan and the Brothers of Destruction. Once I saw that, I said, oh man, it's over. Kamala can't come back from the Brothers of Destruction and Hulk Hogan. No. Trump won all the cool shit. All the man stuff. Trump resonated with men. And I think Trump resonated with women because real talk, most women want real men. Not this soy boy crying over election shit men. Not this, I need a savior. The white man gonna come after me and get me because Trump's in office and all that bullshit. Your woman she ain't gonna respect you if you on the internet talking like that. I'm just gonna tell you, your woman ain't gonna respect you at all if you on the internet talking like that. That's the wrong way to get respect. Acting like you scared. Fake it till you make it. Negro, white man, white woman. What you gotta be scared of? Fear is in your mind. And what has happened, I'm gonna wrap it up with this. What has happened is there has been over the last 8, 12 years where people they weaponize words. People are scared to be called this, they scared to be called that. They're like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want the K hive. I don't want the beehive on me. I don't want smoke from all these crazy people online. What has happened is people just said, fuck it. It is what it is. Call me all them isms and it's all you want. I'm standing on this shit. This is bullshit. Fuck you and fuck this, fuck system. I ain't fucking with it no more. That's what people want right now. So them words don't mean shit no more. People that use these words and had no fucking clue what they were talking about, but they just kept using them and saying them because that's how projection works. That's how manipulation works. That's how narcissism works. That is how the media apparatus and the government treat the citizens of this country. It's constant manipulation, constant gaslighting. And they just keep repeating bullshit until you accept it, until you repeat the bullshit yourself. They repeat it so much that you crave to be given bullshit just to make you feel good about yourself. Wicked games out here. Wicked games out here that they playing. So I know I done went on, I done carried on a bit because it was supposed to be just Kamala Trump, but I ain't been on for a while. So, if this comes across your feed, I hope I gave you something of substance, something that you could dive into, something that has helped you make understanding of this world. You ain't crazy because you feel how you feel. And if you stumbled across this channel, it's for a good reason. The algorithm worked in your favor. If you stumbled across this video, it's worked in your favor. Because you getting some real talk. Uh, Van Jones gonna say this, huh? Um, Roland Martin gonna say this, huh? I know, uh, the the one with the glasses, Mad Owl, she gonna say this? Joy Reid gonna say this, huh? Huh? They ain't talking how I'm talking. They ain't giving you the information I'm giving you. And you are only you're as powerful or as valuable as the information that you have in your disposal. And if you don't have good information at your disposal or quality information or all of the information, you cannot make a good assessment on how to move forward. These people keep you in a box, and the left is in a small, tiny box. They're in a glass house, and they throw so many stones. Well, you pick up a pebble to them motherfuckers. That whole shit is over. No pebble. These are smart people. If you so damn smart, how come you crying when you get into an argument? You get emotional when you get into a debate. It's because you can't stand on what you believe. You have nothing to back up all those silly things that you believe and that you stand on. What you really standing on is quicksand. And any type of protest, you gonna sink quickly because your foundation is not strong. That's the whole thing. The right may be misguided, and I think they are, because they also have a savior complex and they also believe in the overall state. Um, but they're correct. Generally, they're correct. A lot of the stuff that has gone on in this country, they've seen it and they have experienced that impact. So what I'll say to end this for the people on the left, if you still listen, if you've gotten this far, because I know you've heard things that you've probably never heard before. White people were slaves. Jesus, some bullshit. What? Asian? What? Asian slaves? Pacific slave trade? What? Kamala is an idiot? What? She uses unburdened so well. Um, what I'll say is to you people, try to understand the other side. That's what I did. I watch the news. I watch Bill Maher and other shows, and I'm thinking I'm very educated and I know what I'm talking about when I get around people. And I'm saying a bunch of hot air and garbage and nonsense, just like everybody else is saying right now. Until I decided to lean, go into the other side and find out what they're talking about and understand that position and see if there's some validity to that position. And once you look into that position, that side of things, you start to understand, oh shit, there is a lot of validity in their argument. And that stuff is impacting me as well. It's impacting all of us. So for the left people, um, you're not, you're not this arrogance of educational achievement that you have, stop it. Because in America in 2024, we've all been through indoctrination. So just because you think you're educated and you think you're this and that, uh, usually you're the dumbest person in the room. if you're sitting around people who don't have your fucking education, because those people who don't have the education, they have those things, that thing called common sense. And common sense is going to get you a long way. It's going to get you way further than that uh uh bachelor's and these people get back degrees in now liberal arts, yeah, so, or women's study or African American history. You get into that African American history program because that's been an op since the 50s, since its inception. This has been why Kamala lost to Trump, why Trump won. I don't know how long this has went, but this is it. I'm gonna piss people off. Fuck it. It is what it is. If you standing on something, you don't care about losing people, because if you lose them people, those were the people who were meant to be lost. Because guess what? Those people, to themselves and to the rest of everybody else, they're lost within themselves. So don't worry about the sheep. Still sharp and still. Get you some wolves. Get you some lions. Tribe up with them people. Strong gonna have to be with the strong because the weak is looking bleak. And I don't know what to say to rhyme that, but this has been Sports Talk and Bull Stuff. D Davis, I'm out.